All right, Coach. Coming off 2 wins over a good UTPB squad, what are some things that you take away from those 2 wins?
Oh, well, we'll start with actually Monday.
Oh yeah, Monday. Sorry, yeah.
We had a win on Monday. So we played 3 games this
3.
week, and then we went to Odessa Thursday, got that win, and then got the win back at home on Saturday. So it was a long week for us. It was a really good week. I think I was just looking, Lexi went maybe 18 for 27 within those 2 UTPB games. So she continues to be ultra efficient from the scoring side. And I actually thought, Abby Spurgeon had a really good couple of games. She was struggling to finish at times in the paint, and she did a really good job of getting some buckets and taking advantage of her height in there. So a good couple of games for us. We needed those. The more we can play, I think the better.
Talk about Lexi. It seems like when the team's struggling, they're just razzled, I guess. Like, she just steps up and makes a few buckets, or she does some good assists. Like, is that something you tell her, or does she just do that just internally?
Lexi is just a natural basketball player. She has great instincts on the floor. She does a great job of reading the defense and really taking what they're giving her. We played a defense. UTPB played a 3-2 and 1-3-1 aggressive man. So we saw a lot of different things, and she really did a good job of just kind of taking what they gave her. But you can see she's shooting the 3, mid-range, scoring at the rim, getting to the free throw line. Just a tough player to guard. So it doesn't really matter what offense we're running, or if she just decides to go make a play. She's figuring out just ways to score all throughout the game.
It's just like the men got a gauntlet coming up. 2 games after the weekend, day off, playing, and then you have St. Ed's, and then you got a long road trip to the NI. So how do you kind of prepare for that gauntlet?
6 games in 9 days, I think. Is that right? Six games in 9 days. We just take it one day at a time. So the focus is on Friday, Texas A&M-Kingsville. A young team, but a really good team. I like his little team, that he has some good shooters and scorers on the team. And Coach Madrid does a really good job down at Kingsville, and he knows how to win at a high level. I think he was at LCU, worked with Coach Gomez for several years, and was a head coach before that too. So they're going to be a tough challenge coming down here. It's nice that we get them at home. Last year we were down at their place. So that's going to be our focus first, and then it is a quick turnaround. There's one day off in between, and then Monday, Tuesday, St. Ed's. But the focus right now just remains Kingsville, and you just keep that piece simple and make sure we're ready for those battles.
Knowing you're playing the back-to-backs, so you kind of maybe hold something back, or when it comes to players' minutes, start thinking, I've got to get 30 minutes out of you tomorrow, so let's get 25 tonight.
These back-to-back games are tough. It has been. I like it because it's a different kind of challenge. The personnel. Especially post players that have kind of been banging against each other the first night. Now they're back at it again, kind of the no love lost feeling. So I can't tell you exactly the strategy. We go into the game saying, okay, we hope that some of this action works, maybe man or defensively, here's what we need to do. And then there's just the constant adjustment. So the goal is just to get that win and, then focus on that next game. But it has definitely felt different this season, playing back-to-back. The same team, it's definitely tougher.
Do you see any similarities between Kingsville and St. Ed's that might give you a leg up, or do they play pretty differently?
Kingsville, I go back to that. He has a lot of freshmen, but he has some older players. I mean, he has a freshman 3-4 player that just made 6 threes the other night in a game. Her last name is Payne, and so he has players that are stepping up. And he split a couple of the games. They have, St. Mary's, I think they lost the first one and then really just destroyed them the second game. So they're a team, to me, that they're figuring things out, but they're figuring out how to win through it all as well. So, and St. Ed's has just always been physical. And both, really, so UTPB was up, aggressive to 9. Kingsville may just be, they're going to pack it in a little bit more and make it tougher to score in the paint. So every team has just a little bit different identity. And then back to St. Ed's, push, shove, physical. So it's just understanding what the other teams are doing, making sure we really stick to our game plan and kind of what we want to do, which is execute in the half court, but also play with some pace and tempo as well.
Around the conference, you are seeing a lot of splits. The first team, the wins percentage, was like, what do you tell your team the day after you pick a win to maybe get them rid of complacency or whatnot? I mean, what are you doing as a coaching staff, and what are you telling your players?
It's simple. Nobody cares what you did the day before. And it is. It is the truth. You may have won, but it doesn't matter. You have to prove yourself again pretty quickly. So it's a quick turnaround, and it does. It does keep you on your toes. I just go back to the personnel doesn't change. Somebody like a UTPB who we thought had a lot of depth and a lot of bodies that they were just throwing at us, and they fought to the bitter end. And we won by 19, close to 20 points, but it didn't matter. It was still, they shot 48%, and luckily for us, we shot 60 and was able to walk away with the win. So there is no secret. You just have to be the better team that night, and that's kind of the approach that we take, is quickly refocus, recover, and go back to battle.
Last week you talked about how there'd be a lot of young players that get a lot of action. How do you feel that your two freshmen and then Macaulay Gregory, she played really well on Saturday?
Sure, I'll start with Macaulay. And a lot of people don't know this, but Macaulay was out all summer. She had foot surgery, and we really didn't get her maybe into our practices until 4 or 5 weeks after school started. So to see her have that game that she had, and kind of her coming out party, and she made a couple threes, mid-range jumper, got to the free throw lines, scored a layup. She's a very poised player. She doesn't get too high or too low. Even when she was doing good things, you don't see her show a lot of emotion, which is kind of a strength of hers as well. So it was nice to see her step up. And right now, as we start playing a lot of games, we need everybody to step up. And then Jayla, Jayla kind of similar to Macaulay too. They don't get too high or low. She's 6'2". She's learning how to be a little bit more physical in the paint. Just has a good mind, and Jill did a good job too. Jill likes to score from the perimeter, and she gave us some good looks this weekend.
Talk a little bit about Sienna. It seemed like she had a series, during Saturday's game, a 10-minute stretch where she came on and she was just guiding everything and getting open looks.
Yeah, Sienna is another kid. So she actually just came back from a surgery as well. So she started all last year for us. Then for I don't know how many weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, she was out. So we're talking about some kids that I know we're battling the COVID side, and they actually battled just a couple of injuries, and we're just now, it's kind of the Sienna that we saw last year, and she has speed. She's just the engine that never stops. She's aggressive. She rebounds. I think the other night she got this O-board, kicked it right out to Lexi, wide open three. Lexi can't get a better shot than that. But it's things like that makes Sienna special. She's a great communicator on the court, keeps us organized, and she can put it on the floor. She can shoot the three, but she was a big piece last year. She started almost every game for us last season. So even though she's coming off the bench, she's going to have an impact on the game.